Sa aking mga co-chairs, kay Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Dong Gonzales Jr., mga kasamahan at katrabaho sa Kongreso, mga resource persons at bisita, at ang mga nanonood via live stream. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. On behalf of the co-chairs and the members of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, we'd like to thank the leadership of the House for entrusting us with this important task of conducting hearings regarding online disinformation in our country. Pursuant to House Resolution number 286, which was adopted by the House on December 18, 2024, the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Information and Communications Technology, and Public Information, or the TRICOM, were authorized to conduct a joint inquiry in aid of legislation on the rampant posting of false and malicious content in social media platforms while safeguarding freedom of speech and ensuring digital safety. We thank the authors, namely Senior Deputy Speaker Gonzales, Deputy Speaker David J.J. C. Suarez, Majority Leader Manuel Jose Manix M. Dalipe, Minority Leader Marcelino C. Libanan, Representative Robert Ace Barbers, Benbenito M. Abante Jr., and Joseph Stephen Caraps S. Paduano for filing House Resolution number 2147, which the House adopted as House Resolution number 286. Sino rito ang nabiktima na ng maling impormasyon sa social media? Sino rito ang nakapag-share ng maling impormasyon sa social media na pinaniniwalaan nila na totoo? Malamang lahat tayo, ang masamang epekto ng disinformasyon at misinformasyon ay lalong umalingaw sa gitna ng isang global crisis sa ating kalusugan noong panahon ng COVID-19 pandemic, kung saan talamak ang paglabas ng mali-maling impormasyon sa internet. Noong panahon na iyon, mahirap para sa ordinaryong mamamayan na makakuha ng kritikal at wastong impormasyon mula sa ating mga ahensya. Sino rito ang nabiktima ng scam? O may kilalang nabiktima ng scam? Malamang lahat din tayo. Dahil sa social media, ang cybercrimes ngayon ay may tuturing na natin na mas madalas pang mangyari sa buhay ng isang karaniwang tao kesa sa mga common crimes. Bilang komite na may mandato na siyasatin ang lahat ng bagay na nauugnay sa pagsugpo ng kriminalidad, layunin po natin dito ang magkapagsagawa ng naangkop na batas laban sa mali at malisyosong impormasyon na nagdudulot ng pinsala at krimen sa ating mamamayan, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga kabataan. Napapanahon ang ating diskurso ngayong araw na ito dahil laganap na ang mga kasinungalingan at peking balita sa social media. Bawat Pilipino, lalong-lalo na mga menor de edad, mga hindi nakapag-aral, mga matatanda na hindi sanay sa teknolohiya at iba pang mga vulnerable sector ng ating lipunan, tayong lahat ay posibleng maging biktima ng panloloko at paglilinlang sa social media. Isang nakakaalarmang sitwasyon sa social media ay ang pag-normalize. Bagamat sinusubukan na matugunan ang mga insidente, ito pa rin ay maaaring maging sanhi ng depresyon, suicidal thoughts, at iba pang mga long-term negative effect sa ating mental health. Napakahirap na mawari kung ano ang totoo at peke sa social media, lalo-lalo na at mayroong satirical news websites, AI-generated images at deepfakes. Ayon sa isang survey, 86% ng mga Pilipino ay naniniwala na isang malaking problema ang fake news. Ngunit mas malaking problema ang mga trolls na sadyang nagpapalaganap ng peking balita. Ang disinformasyon na kinakalat nila ay may tuturing na weaponization of social media kapag ito ay nagdulot ng ating lipunan. Hindi natin maikakait ang malalim na pinsalang dulot ng peking balita, cybercrimes, lalo na kung ito ay patungkol sa kalusugan, seguridad ng bansa, natural na kalamidad, public emergency at integridad ng ating mga demokratikong institusyon. Banggitin ko lamang po ang isang mahalagang bagay na tinatalakay noong Quadcom. Nakita natin na ang mga pogo ay gumagamit ng mga social media upang maglabas ng pekeng job offers at makapag-recruit ng mga kababayan natin na walang kamuang-muang at mabilis na naaakit sa mataas na sahod at magagandang benepisyo na pinangako ng Pogo recruiters. Ngunit nauwi lamang sila bilang trafficking victims na sa pilitang pinagtrabaho bilang isa itong ehemplo na nagpapakita ng kahinaan ng ating mga batas at kakulangan ng proteksyon ng ating mamamayan laban sa mga panloloko sa internet. Mismong ang pag-iit ng ating pagmamay-ari ng West Philippine Sea ay apektado sa paglaganap ng kasinungalingan sa SOCMED. Sabi nga ni Justice Antonio Carpio, ang pag-angkin ng China sa West Philippine Sea ay maituturing na fake news of the century. Ang mga Pinoy na trolls naman na nagpapalaganap ng maling impormasyon tungkol dito, pwede ba nating ituring bilang mga traidor ng bayan? Marahil ay kinakailangan nating amyandahan ang ating mga batas, unang-una na Republic Act number 10175 o ang Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Marami mga panukalang batas ang nilagdaan ng aking mga kasamahan sa Kongreso. At ako mismo, naghain ako ng House Bill Resolution number 543 na naglalayo na maitatag ang social media regulation upang maprotektahan ang ating mga kabataan. Kinakailangan natin ang mga makabago at naangkop na mga polisiya at patakaran laban sa disinformasyon. Kailangan natin suriin mabuti kung paano maitatag ang fact-checking at content moderation sa ating mga social media platforms. Higit sa lahat, kinakailangan natin magkaroon ng isang makabuluhang diskurso patungo sa online safety at digital literacy. Lahat yan sa bawat Pilipino. Sa pamamagitan ng malawakang talakayang ito sa Kongreso, maging layunin natin na magkaroon ng public awareness at makadagdag sa kalaman ng ating kababayan ukol sa disinformasyon. Hinikayat ko po ang lahat ng narito sa ating pagpupulong na sikaping makamit ang layuning ito. Sa inyong lahat, maraming salamat po. The Chair now recognizes Congressman Chairman.
Thank you, Mr.
Jan
Chair.
Pimentel. You are now recognized.
Good morning to everyone. Today, we gather to address a pressing issue that is increasingly permeating our digital landscape: the pervasive spread of fake news on social media platforms. As we delve into this inquiry, it is essential to underscore the critical implications that misinformation has on public discourse, democratic processes, and societal cohesion. Social media has transformed how we communicate and access information. It provides unprecedented opportunities for dialogue and engagement, allowing voices from all walks of life to be heard. Yet, the same platform has become a fertile ground for the rapid dissemination of falsehoods and misleading narratives. The consequences of such misinformation are profound, influencing everything from public health decisions to electoral outcomes and undermining trust in our institutions and each other. As lawmakers, our role is not only to understand the scope and nature of this phenomenon, but also to consider our responsibility in creating a framework that protects the integrity of information while respecting the fundamental principles of free speech. We must tread carefully, ensuring that our legislative responses do not inadvertently stifle legitimate discourse or infringe upon the rights of individuals. This inquiry seeks to illuminate the dynamics at play between social media, fake news, and the public. We aim to gather insights from experts, stakeholders, and the public at large, examining the efficacy of existing regulations, the accountability of social media platforms, and the potential for new legislative measures to combat misinformation. We must ask ourselves, what constitutes fake news? How can we differentiate between misinformation and legitimate debate? What role should media companies play in monitoring and curbing the spread of false information? And crucially, how can we empower the public to critically engage with information they encounter online? Together, let us strive to find solutions that not only address the challenges posed by fake news, but also foster a vibrant, informed, and responsible digital citizenship. Our discussions today and in the days to come will shape the path forward in this vital area, and I encourage you to contribute your insights and perspectives in this hearing. Thank you and good morning to everyone.
The next to deliver his opening remarks is the chairman on Committee on Public Information and Communication Technology. Committee on Public Information, chaired by Congressman Chairman Joboy Aquino. Now you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning to all of you. Let me thank our colleagues, resource persons, and everyone in attendance today as we try to understand and address the rampant spread of disinformation on social media. In today's digital era, its speed and impact are unprecedented, which compels us to address this head-on. Intentionally misleading information poses significant risk to our society, undermining public trust, threatening public safety, and influencing public opinion. We share a collective responsibility to address this challenge effectively. As I understand, we have representatives from different sectors, and our goal is to strengthen collaboration and explore approaches to counter disinformation. Each of you bring unique expertise and insights. We highly encourage all our resource persons to actively participate in our committee meetings and to exercise their freedom of speech, of expression, and of the press with diligence and integrity. As we engage in meaningful discussions, let us uphold the highest moral and ethical standards, recognizing that all freedoms and rights come with a responsibility to use them wisely. Together, let us foster a respectful and productive dialogue that contributes to informed policy making and the public good. With that in mind, I look forward to a constructive discussion with all of you. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much, Co-Chair Joboy Aquino. Now, the Chair would like to recognize one of the authors of House Resolution number 2147, Senior Deputy Speaker Don Gonzales. Now, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Dan, Chairman Johnny, Chairman Joboy, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good morning to all of us. It is my privilege to sponsor House Resolution number 286, which calls for a joint inquiry in aid of legislation on the rampant posting of false and malicious content on social media platforms, while safeguarding freedom of speech and ensuring digital safety. Social media bridges gaps. Pinag-uugnay nito ang mga tao, bumubuo ito ng mga komunidad, nagpapalawak ng mga kamalayan, at nagsusulong ng pagbabahagi ng kaalaman. According to online article by Data Reportal, the Philippines was home to 86.75 million social media users in January 2024. 2024, equating to 73.4% of the total population. At sabi naman ng Foundation for Media Alternatives, ang Facebook ay ang pinakamura at pinakamadaling ma-access dahil ang ilang mga network ay inaalok ito ng libre bilang bahagi ng kanilang data plan. Ngunit, sa kabila ng napakaraming benepisyong kakibat nito, social media can also be used as a conduit of inappropriate content. We all experience browsing our social media platforms, and more often, ang mga mapanirang nilalaman na ito ay naglalagay sa panganib sa kaligtasan ng publiko sa pamamagitan ng maling impormasyon, online harassment, mga panlilinlang. We affirm that instrumental role of social media in today's day and age, but there is an overwhelming need to address harmful content and at the same time uphold constitutional freedoms, particularly the freedom of speech and expression, which are considered cornerstones of our democracy. House Resolution number 286 proposes for the development of an improved transparency and accountability mechanisms for social media platforms. Most especially, it calls for an enhanced content moderation, reporting systems, and safeguards against misuse of algorithms. Additionally, digital literacy needs to be prioritized to help our fellow Filipinos discern credible information. Likewise, the resolution will also review Republic Act number 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 to address the challenges posed by emerging technologies and harmful online content. To effectively address and promote digital safety, a multi-stakeholder approach must be carried out. Social media companies, cybersecurity experts, and legal professionals must come together to craft an effective and double legislation. By working together, we can ensure a safer digital landscape while preserving democratic values. Inihikayat ko po ang aking mga kapwa mambabatas at lahat ng ating mga panauhin na suportahan ang resolution ito upang matiyak ang kaligtasan ng ating digital space. Let us reconfigure our social media platforms with meaningful discourse, innovation, and empowerment rather than a breeding ground for deception of harm. Takal po salamat, may payabak po kay Katam.
Ano yan?
Good morning to all of you. Takal po salamat. Maraming salamat.
To deliver the next opening remarks, the one who deliver his privilege speeches, two privilege speeches in the plenary on December 4 and 16, 2024. Chairman Robert Ace Barbers, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is very short, Mr. Chairman. As the proponent of the privilege speech that was delivered last year, with respect to the issues in the social media, allow this representation to deliver a very short opening remark, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga, mga kasamahan, honorable colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today not to silence voices, suppress free speech, or curtail the constitutional right to freedom of expression. Instead, we are here to draw the line between responsible discourse and the deliberate, systematic abuse of digital platforms to spread lies, destroy reputations, and manipulate public perception. This hearing seeks to establish a regulatory framework for social media similar to how the Kapisanan ng mga Broadcasters sa Pilipinas or the KBP regulates television and radio broadcasters, and how the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines or the NUJP upholds ethical standards for print media. Our goal is to develop a code of conduct for content creators, ensuring accountability and ethical responsibility in this rapidly evolving digital space. While we uphold the constitutional right to freedom of speech, we must also recognize the urgent need for regulation to prevent the misuse of digital platforms. The lack of oversight has allowed vloggers and online influencers to freely spread harmful narratives without fact-checking or ethical accountability. To address this, social media platforms like TikTok and Facebook must be treated as legitimate businesses requiring a franchise or accreditation system. By holding these platforms accountable for monitoring and removing defamatory content, we can foster a safer and more responsible digital environment. This measure will not only encourage ethical content creation, but also curb the spread of libelous and misleading information. Just as traditional media operates under legal and ethical standards, bloggers and online influencers must also be subject to similar regulations to prevent the reckless dissemination of falsehoods. In recent years, we have witnessed the alarming rise of trolls, vloggers, and malicious online actors who, under the guise of exercising free speech, systematically spread fake news and engage in character assassination. These individuals and groups operating with seeming impunity have poisoned public discourse and in many instances tarnished the reputation of those who dare challenge their narratives. Despite the existence of laws such as the Cybercrime Prevention Act, Filipinos remain vulnerable to online deception, harassment, and digital attacks that threaten not only individual lives but also the integrity of our democracy. The reality is that these network of trolls are not simply expressing opinions. They are engaged in a well-orchestrated, well-funded campaign to spread disinformation, manipulate public perception, and destabilize institutions. The sources of funding for these operations remain in the shadows, possibly linked to illicit activities such as POGO operations or criminal syndicates. These financial resources are weaponized to create chaos, erode trust in government, undermine the media, and weaken our democratic foundations. Ironically, but not surprisingly, none of these actors speak out against China's aggression in the West Philippine Sea, proving our suspicion of illegal foreign funding. Let us be clear, this is no longer a mere issue of online criticism. What we are facing is a calculated effort to deceive, defame, and discredit those who seek to uphold the truth. These trolls are mercenaries of disinformation, paid to disrupt, confuse, and divide. Their mission is to drown out facts, distort the truth, and silence those who speak out against corruption and injustice. We too have not been spared. As public servants, we have been personally targeted by these malicious actors. Myself, my colleagues, and even the President. We accept criticism when it pertains to our official duties. But it is evident that these attacks go beyond public accountability. Their true intent is to discredit us before the electorate and the people we serve through personal and baseless attacks. The Supreme Court in Labargan versus People of the Philippines, GR number 246824, citing the Kerr Jr. versus People in GR number 206015, ruled that, and I quote, offensive imputations against public officers do not constitute defamation if these relate to their discharge of official duties unless the prosecution proves actual malice. Defamatory utterances are malicious when made with knowledge that they were false or with reckless disregard as to its falsity, unquote. But this issue is bigger than any individual case, Mr. Chairman. This is about every Filipino who has been a victim of. If we continue to ignore this growing problem, we are failing the people we have sworn to protect. Social media should never be a tool for lies, and harm others must be held accountable. We have also received reports of vloggers soliciting donations under the pretense of funding their content, only to be involved in scams and online fraud. All this must stop, Mr. Chair. Today, we commit ourselves to finding solutions. We will explore ways to protect the public from the dangers of fake news and disinformation while ensuring that our digital spaces remain safe, ethical, and credible for future generations. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Marcoleta and then Congressman Abante.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Judging from the title of the resolution before us, is it correct to assume that this hearing is only limited to social media platforms?
No, of course not.
Because the way I see it, it only addresses the problems, alleged problems encountered against bloggers.
No, Chairman, Congressman Marcoleta. That's the reason why we have invited as well the government agencies and also the academe and other media outlets who have parameters on.
But we have not invited members of the mainstream media, Mr. Chair.
We did. And that's the reason why
what was the
we're
response?
asking for the excuse letter as well, because a while ago, the COMSEC have acknowledged the persons of the resource persons who have been invited.
Did we invite, Mr. Chair, Philippine Inquirer and Philippine Star?
COMSEC, can you please reply to the query of the good gentleman from Sagip Party List?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Philippine Daily Inquirer was not invited, Mr. Chair.
How about
Mr. Chairman.
other social media? How about some other major media outlets?
Philippine Star, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, KBP was invited, kapisanan ng mga broadcasters sa
And the president of the
Pilipinas.
KBP is here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did that satisfy the query of Congressman Marcoleta?
Because I think, Mr. Chair, even the social, not only the social media are supposed to be invited, but also the mainstream media. I am personally victimized by these two popular newspapers, broadsheets. May I cite a particular example just to dramatize, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Kaya importante lang sana, gusto ko rin silang marinig ko nandito.
You want the point of order? Oh, so what's the point of order?
We are still in checking all the invitations that was sent to all the invitees. At the same time, Mr. Chairman, some of those invitees are not present. And with regards to the query being made by Congressman Coleta, I do believe that he has a basis for that. And since, Mr. Chairman, the COMSEC has confirmed that indeed Philippine Daily Inquirer and Philippine Star are not invited into today's hearing. Since Congressman Marcoleta is not a member of this committee, may I respectfully move, Mr. Chairman, that in the next hearing, we will invite Philippine Daily Inquirer and Philippine Star to expedite discussion, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
May I know, Mr. Chair, why
By Congressman Paduano, and we have to tackle first the motion. Huh? we have to tackle the motion.
I
that what,
second the motion.
and there's that was duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is now approved. So, Congressman Marcoleta, your query is valid. Unfortunately, I think it's the fault of the COMSEC for not inviting, because you have to consider as well that we have invited so many already for the bloggers. It was like 40, and we cannot accommodate everybody. And there's a reason why your query is so valid that we will be inviting them in the next hearing. And at the same time, having said that, your story about being victimized of those two broadsheet can be tackled in the next hearing. So the next item.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, you have the floor right now, Congressman.
I just would like to find out if Miss Elizabeth Joey Cruz, aka Joey DeVere, Fivre, was invited.
Consent,
If he was invited,
Mr. Chairman,
I'd like
point of order, Mr. Chairman.
now you are recognized.
my query is if we have invited a certain Elizabeth Cruz, no, aka Joey DeVibre, Mr. Chair, if we have invited her and she has an excuse letter, may I know what was the excuse, Mr. Chairman?
Consent, please answer the query of Congressman Abante. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Miss Elizabeth Joy Cruz was invited and she sent an excuse letter via email.
Ano po yung kanya excuse letter? Ano yung dahilan?
One moment, sir. I'll get it from the chair. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Can you kindly also, Comsec, can you kindly also try to tell us those resource persons who have not attended this committee hearing? You may mga excuse letter, okay yun. But those who have not reply to our request to be present on today's hearing.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Chair,
Chair.
particularly first, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Abante.
particularly I am referring to AKA Joe DeVere sapagkat matindi yung kanyang mga sinabi dito. Gusto ko talagang makita siya at makausap sapagkat dito minura niya ako at ang sabi niya, panay kabobohan sa quad. Sayang kuryente sa'yo.
Pagod sa kanya.
Ano yung pack you? Pack you. Hindi ko alam yung pack.
Huwag mo na sabihin.
Congressman Abante. Wala lang. Tutuloy ko lang buta.
Mr. Chairman, Congressman, don't be so personal. Let's be more comprehensive on this approach.
Binabasa ko lang po. Binabasa ko lang
Sige, go ahead. I'll give you
Pangalawa, November 13, 2024, nagmura na naman siya. Hindi ko na babanggitin yung mura niya. Pag tinatanong kung anong legislation ginawa niyo in relation to this, BS, ano ba yung BS? BS inquiry, sasagot ka. Swelduhan ka ng taxpayer. November 3, 2024, si Benny Abante at si Romel Marbil, dahil pilit nilang pinalabas na hindi ito gano'n kasama. Tapos, sabing ganyan, si Dan Fernandez and Ace Barber's survey are depressing. Alam na nila na matatalo sila sa eleksyon. So what is the hearing for? Smoke screen for the discount. Tinabi ko ito sapagkat matindi po itong mga akusasyon na ibinigay nitong gusto ko nilang magmura Hindi na ako magmumura muna. Oo. Kailangan po, itong mga to, ang tatapang nila Ang tatapang sa pagmumura, nang wala tayong kalaban-laban. Ngayon, pag kaharap dito, hindi makaharap dito. Oo.
Eh, mga takot din pala yung mga yan eh.
Please hold your fire, please.
I'm holding my fire.
Just on the process of administrative, ano pa lang muna tayo, Congressman Abante. We can tackle that on the interpellation.
Eh, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang pong bagitin tong kanya excuse letter. O nakalagay dito, after meaningful consultation with my lawyers, gumaya pa na abogado. I have decided to respectfully decline. Respectfully? Minumura tayo, respectfully? Ha? To share my knowledge on matters. Hindi knowledge ang kailangan natin.
The lawyer, this is like...
Oo. Ask the lawyers kung libelous yung ginawa niyo o slander. No ha? O nakalagay, I would like to categorically state that I am neither paid by POGO operators. Hindi na pinag-uusapan. Pinag-uusapan natin yung mga sinabi niya. O, tapos respectfully, Elizabeth Joey Cruz. Nakikinig po sa atin ngayon, nanonood ngayon. Humarap ka dito, kumatapang ka. Hirap sa iyo, nagbumura ka. Nang dyan na wala kaming kalaban-laban. Humarap ka dito. Dito.
Chairman.
wait. Quiet, Chairman. Please observe, refrain from laughing or whatever expression you wanted to, please observe decency and, of course,
Chair, I move that we strike out.
with all due respect, with all due respect with Congressman Abante, I feel your sentiment, I feel your sentiment, but we are in the process of finding out the, yung pong implementation of the 10175. And I respect your freedom of expression. But what I'm trying to tell you is to refrain from the fire that you wanted to express, But for now, nandun pa lang po tayo sa administrative matter, and we wanted to finish that, and then we will be discussing, or we will be approving the ground rules. Wala pa po yung ground rules, and kaya nga po doon sana yung kay Chairman Abante na papatak yan sa ground rules. Anyway, having said that, siguro we'll proceed to the next item.
Mr.
of our
Chair,
agenda is to approve.
So that we can have an orderly hearing, we must first approve the ground rules. I believe that the COMSEC has already distributed copies of the ground rules
Correct.
to the members present. So therefore, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the ground rules.
Yes, there's a motion to approve the ground rules. And I believe that the members of this committee have already received the yung pong ground rules natin, and you have already read it. So siguro I need a second motion for this. Any second motion?
Second.
This was duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is now approved.
Administration.
Hindi mo babasahin naman ang rules. So the next item of our agenda is for all the...
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Zamora.
I would like to reiterate my earlier motion to strike out the expletive that was mentioned by my idol, Representative Abante. Earlier. Second motion.
Mr. Chair,
Second motion.
I object because it was not expletive. Sinabi ko lang, namo. That can mean anything. That can mean anything.
Hearing resume.
If that is the... Huh?
So it was seconded, Mr. Chairman. And the objection by Congressman Abante, it's up to the members if they will vote for it, for the objection of Chairman Abante.
1 minute suspension.
Okay na.
Hearing resume. So there's a motion to strike out the word that was delivered by Congressman Abante, and this was duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, that motion is approved.
Mr. Chair, I would like to manifest na because it was a motion made by she's just like a daughter to me because her father is a very good friend of mine. So I would like to withdraw my objection, although it is not actually an expletive.
Yeah.
But I'm withdrawing it for the sake of the motion, Mr. Chair.
So the next item of our agenda is the administering the oath of the resource persons. Those who have been invited to attend this committee hearing, please stand up, and the COMSEC is hereby directed to administer the oath of the resource persons.
May we request all the resource persons invited to stand, raise your right hand and repeat after me. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this inquiry? Thank you. Please take your seat.
Mr. Chair, once again, we would like to have an orderly proceedings of the hearings. So therefore, we have some reminders to the members because after this, we will now proceed to the deliberation and discussion. Please be reminded that pursuant to our ground rules, House members shall register with the committee secretary and shall be recognized on a first to register basis. Members shall be given 10 minutes each for their interpellation, excluding the answers of the resource persons. No member, except the chairpersons or the presiding officer and the senior deputy speaker, shall be allowed to speak or make interjections during the course of the interpellation of a member unless and until recognized by the lead chairperson or the presiding officer. Lastly, we enjoin everyone to observe proper decorum and basic courtesy in our proceedings. Please address your questions to the co-chairs and wait to be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Co-Chair Pimentel.
Chairman.
So, muna tapos doon. The next is Chairman Aquino for the discussion proper. Please discuss it.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the permission of my co-chairs, I would like to propose that we first hear from the academe, then government agencies and independent media organizations to give us a situationer on the social media landscape. Each presenter shall have 10 minutes. Thank you.
So the proposed flow of discussion, una po yung academe, si Dr. Jonathan Ong, then academe muna, then government agencies, then the independent media organization. This will be the flow of our discussion. But for the meantime, going back to the administrative matter, Congressman Chairman Chairman Paduano, have something to say?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a matter of procedure, Mr. Chairman. And a protocol of every committee hearing, Mr. Chairman. All resource person being invited in every hearing and absent should have an excuse letter or explanation. And if that excuse letter is valid and acceptable to the committee members, so we will just invite them to the next hearing. But for all those resource persons with an excuse letter or without an excuse letter, they should be invited through a show cause order for the next hearing, Mr. Chairman. So that's a matter of protocol and procedural in every committee hearing, Mr. Chairman. That's why I want to go back to the invited guest that was mentioned by Congressman Abante. And it's up to Congressman Abante that what will be the next step for this committee for his or her invitation in the next hearing. I just want to make it clear, Mr. Chairman, that all invitees who are not present in today's hearing the committee should have a proper disposition with regards to their invitation, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So what's the pleasure of the body?
Mr. Chair, in relation to what Congressman Paduano said, may I know if we're going to invite again those social bloggers?
What's the pleasure of the body for those who have been invited and have not written us any excuse letter?
Well, to me, Mr. Chair, to me, Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
let us invite them again. If they don't show up or make an excuse letter, then I'll make a motion that we issue a show cause order on them.
So there's a manifestation by Congressman Abante that those who have not written any excuse letter will be invited again in the next hearing. actually, hindi ito motion, but it's a procedure that is being governed as, no? So, doon sa mga resource persons na hindi po nakarating, na hindi nagpadala ng mga excuse letter, you are being invited again in the next hearing. And for those who have written an excuse letter, what's the pleasure of this body on the excuse letters that they have sent us? Because they have written as letters.
Mr. Chairman, kasi po, in our procedure, depende po sa content ng excuse letter if it is valid or not. That's why, I suggest, kaya lang, tumatagal tayo dito.
Yeah.
I suggest sana na we will discuss each and every excuse letter. Kasi magkaiba po reason at saka content ng letter.
Correct.
Diba? For example, in the case of the person that was mentioned by Congressman Abante, ganun po yung sagot niya. Shall we invite her? Babae ba? Shall we invite her again or issue a show cause order? For me, Mr. Chairman, that is offensive and we should also issue a show cause order for her. And we will not just invite her in the next hearing, we will issue a show cause order for that person. Mr. Chairman.
According sa, okay, thank you so much for that, Congressman Duano. According sa Section 9 of our rules, witnesses will be granted more than two postponements of appearance before the committee without justifiable cause. So we can issue a show cause order because wala silang justifiable reason.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Congressman Ako, please.
we must distinguish the resource person who was invited but did not offer any excuse from the resource person who was invited but came up with a letter excuse. So why should we treat them the same? According to our protocols, as we have done in the previous committee hearings, those invited persons who did not offer any excuse, the next order is for them, for the committee to issue a show cause order to explain why. And for those people who offered an excuse for their absence, it's up for the committee to determine whether the excuse is acceptable or not. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I think we have so many excuse letters that were given to us by the COMSEC.
Mr. Chair,
And,
particularly,
yes.
the excuse order, the excuse letter of this Miss Elizabeth Joey Cruz. She said, I know that the time of the committee is precious and I am coming from deep concern on prudent utilization of public resources. Mr. Chair, this is contemptible. This is not respecting this committee. How dare she would say the prudent utilization of public resources? I therefore make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we issue a show cause order on this Elizabeth Joey Cruz. I move therefore, Mr. Chair.
So there's a motion to issue a show cause order to that resource person. What's the name? Elizabeth Cruz. And there was a second motion. Any objection? Hearing that, the said motion is now approved. Yun po yung merong excuse letter. And there's still a lot. Like, for example, yung kay Sean Wayne, kay Maui Spencer, kay Ethel Garcia. But you have to read the content of their excuse letter. Like, for example, one of these, you want to move on this, or you want to discuss this on a later part of the discussion? Or you want to have an omnibus motion with all of this, But there are excuse letters which are valid. Like, for example, this personality, nasa Singapore siya. So, katulad ito, out of the country, si Maui Spencer, for not being there in our country yet. Nasa Singapore siya for vacation. So, I think, excuse yung kanyang, yung Attorney Abiles, sige. After having discussion with my lawyer, isa-isa na natin to kung gusto nyo. Okay, after having discussion with my lawyers, I regret to inform you that I won't be attending the hearing today because the objective of the hearing is an attempt to curtail the people's right to expression. So what, kay June Abines,
With that issues letter, Mr. Chairman, I found it not valid and I moved to issue a show cause order for that June Abinas, Mr.
okay,
Chairman.
there's a motion to issue a show cause order to this resource person. Any second the motion? Second. There's a second the motion. Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is now approved.
Okay, Mr. Chair, if I may,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, para lang doon sa mga nanonood, no, ito pong hearing na ito ay hindi para kitilin o isuppress yung freedom of speech nila. Wala ho kaming ganong layunin. Ang layunin po natin dito ay gawan ng polisiya ang paggamit ng social media platforms. Dapat po meron tayong disiplina, meron tayong code of conduct, meron tayong ethics sa paggamit nitong social media. Hindi yung pagbukas mo ng social media, magmumura ka. Meron dyan, nagso-social media, nagbablog. Walang ginawa araw-araw kundi manawagan ng kaguluhan sa ating bansa. Nananawagan ng people power, nananawagan ng kudeta. Yung ba ay tama, Mr. Chair? Ang punto lang natin dito is magkaroon tayo ng ganitong ng regulasyon o regulatory policy para kagaya po ng mga broadcasters, meron po silang KBP. Kagaya po ng mga manunulat sa dyaryo, meron po silang NUJP. They're all bound by rules and regulations. So in this social media, the use of social media platforms, unfortunately, wala po tayong ganyan sa ngayon. At hindi po pwede na gawin pong rason ng mga yan na meron tayong freedom, na kine-curtail natin yung freedom of speech nila. Huwag niyo pong lokohin ang taong bayan. Wala hong curtailment o suppression ng freedom of speech dito. Kaya nga kayo inimbita rito eh. Di ba? Kaya kayo inimbita dito para makapagpahayag din kayo. Hindi po ba yan ay tamang freedom of expression? Ba't ngayon nagpapadala kayo ng mga sulat na hindi kayo pwede kasi hindi kayo naniniwala sa layunin ng pagdinig na ito? Wag po kayo magtago sa mga ganyan. Ang tatapang nyo, sabi nga ni Congressman Abante, in the advent of social media, suddenly Filipinos become political analysts. They become journalists. They become experts. We need your wisdom. Diba? Kayo, ang gagaling nyo magtuligsa eh. Dito nyo gawin para nang sa ganun, makagawa tayo ng isang polisiya na hindi po maabuso ito. Ngayon, nandiyan kayo sa social media. Kung mag-retire kayo, wala na kayo, hindi na kayo nagbablog. Paano kaya yung mga susunod na mga vloggers? Yun lamang po ang layunin natin dito. Kaya huwag kayong magdahilan na hindi kayo nagpupunta rito dahil hindi kayo pupunta rito kasi hindi kayo naniniwala sa layunin ng investigasyon na ito. We want to craft a policy, a remedial legislation so that there will be discipline and code of ethics in the practice and use of our social media platform, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. 7 na lang naman pala to. So tapusin na natin, maikli na lang to. Ito may excuse letter din si Mark Anthony de la Cruz Lopez. I was supposed to stand in front of this committee today in what has been asserted as inquiry on fake news peddlers, narco-bloggers, and Pogo-funded bloggers in aid of legislation. I would have loved to really open up and tell you my story on how I evolved from being an ordinary citizen. Mahaba po siya, mga 5 pages siya. Pero tinitingnan ko po, you see Mr. Fernandez and Barbers, I reiterate that I am a citizen of the Republic and I actually understand that the premise of your so-called inquiry is without basis, nor cannot understand on solid legal ground. I therefore invoke my rights as provided for in the Constitution and decline your invitation. So, mahaba po yung kanyang letter and I cannot understand fully, but this is the content of the letter. So, what's the pleasure of the body?
Mr. Chairman, once again, the letter that was sent to this committee is not valid. I move to issue a show cause order for that invited guest.
Okay, if there's a motion, we issue a focus order to Mr. Mark Anthony Lopez. Any second the motion?
Second.
Any objection? Hearing none? Yes, the said motion is now approved. Okay, ito naman galing kay Attorney Trixie Angeles. I respectfully decline this invitation as I question the legality of the inquiry as well as the proposed legislation for being violative of the constitutional guarantee of free speech.
Is she a lawyer? Is she a lawyer?
Yes, Attorney Trixie.
A lawyer?
I think, attorney. So what's the pleasure of the body?
Mr. Chairman, I might have two motions, Mr. Chairman. First motion, Mr. Chairman, is to issue a show cause order to Attorney what?
Trixie Angeles.
Attorney Angeles.
Show cause din yan.
That is my first motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, about the...
Second motion.
Duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is now approved.
My second motion, Mr. Chairman, is for the legal department of this House to study if ever there is a violation because he is an officer of the court. And he should respect the constitutional duty of Congress. And question of legality, Mr. Chairman, I respectfully move that we will consult the legal department of this House for a possible disbarment case against Attorney Trixie, ano apelyido? Angeles po. So move, Mr. Chairman.
The COMSEC is hereby directed. Oh, no, it's a motion. So there's a motion.
Second.
Wait. Your motion is to ask the legal
The
department.
legal department for a possible disbursement case against Attorney Trixie Angeles.
So there's a motion cited by Congressman Paduano. Any second the motion? Duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is now approved. About Richard Mata, thank you for your invitation. I just received this yesterday, just a day before the event. I consulted my lawyer and was advised not to attend. The late invitation plus the unclear purpose of the event, we support the freedom of speech. So, what's the pleasure of this body?
The same thing with the others, Mr. Chair. I would like to make a motion
I think we have a
issue show cause order.
There's a motion. Any second the motion? Duly second. Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is now approved. About the Aaron Peña. While I initially wanted to accept, I would like to respectfully decline your invitation to share my knowledge on matters that were raised by Representative Ace Barbers in his privileged speeches. Last year, after a series of consultation with my lawyers, I would like to categorically state that I'm neither paid by POGO operators nor drug lords, and so my knowledge is not used for the goal of the joint committee. Same thing. Motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to issue a show cause order for...
There's a motion to issue a show cause order to this person. Any second the motion? Second the motion. Duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is approved. And Kisette Chu. This in reference to your invitation to the joint inquiry congressional hearing on social media. After careful consideration, I would like to respectfully turn down your invitation due to these following reasons. Mahaba po yung reasons. 4 pages. And sa nababasa ko ba, ang tema niya ay justification of the laws protecting their rights. So I think, what's the pleasure again? I think it's not about health reasons or whatever. It's also justifying not to be present on today's hearing.
Once again, Mr. Chairman, I move to issue a show cause order
There's
for
a
the
motion
mentioned
to
invited guests.
show cause order to Ms. Chrisette Chu, and this was duly seconded. Hearing no objection, the said motion is now approved. About the Sean Wayne, it's a long excuse as well. No health issues and not out of the country. So I think same. No, it's not out of the country. So, nag-decline lang siya. And this goes also to Miss Ethel Garcia, para yun na po yung lahat natin. So, dalawa po sila, same naman ang reason almost.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we issue a show cause order for both the invitees that was mentioned by the chairman. So
There's a motion to issue show cause order to Miss Ethel Garcia and Sean Wayne. Duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is now approved. So now we will be...
Mr. Chairman, just one last admin.
11:30 na. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, the committee has received a letter coming from the Philippine Entertainment Portal, and they're requesting for their presence to be invited in the next hearing, Mr. Chairman, so that they can also give some inputs with regards to the House resolution that we're tackling in today's hearing, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
so we will be inviting them over as well. There's a motion, duly seconded by Congressman Luiso. Any objection? The said motion on the said motion, hearing no objection, the said motion is now approved.